A black waiter leaned forward, voice low but steady, and said, "My mom has the same ring." The billionaire froze, his face drained of color. His glass slipped from his hand, and the entire ballroom fell silent. No one understood why those 7 words felt like an earthquake in the middle of laughter and champagne. Before we dive deeper into this story, tell us your city or country in the comments. Let's see how far this moment travels. And if stories of truth and courage move you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This one will stay with you. The Grand Regency Hotel glowed that night. Chandeliers reflected diamonds. Violins whispered in the air and laughter bounced off golden walls. It was the annual Hearts of Hope Charity Gala, where billionaires wore kindness like jewelry and cameras captured every smile. But among the sea of tuxedos and silk gowns moved Malik Carter. 26, polite, focused, invisible. He poured champagne, carried trays, and kept his posture perfect. To most guests, he was just another server in black and white. Yet behind his calm eyes hid years of struggle, long shifts, endless bills, and a heart heavy with loss. Every movement was practiced, professional, but deep inside, he carried an ache that never left. A mother's disappearance that had turned every night into a question without an answer. Tonight, the answer was closer than he could ever imagine. Malik's life was a story of survival. After his mother vanished when he was just 7, he and his younger sister were raised by their grandmother. He never stopped searching for her face, in crowds, on missing posters, in dreams. The only memory that never faded was the ring she always wore. A ruby, deep red like a drop of fire engraved with her initials, EC. That ring had been her pride, passed down from her own mother, who once said, "It's more than gold, it's our bloodline." Years passed. No leads, no closure. Malik took whatever jobs he could find, balancing 2 shifts to pay rent and medicine. He didn't complain. Pain had taught him patience. But every time he saw someone wear jewelry, he remembered her hand, her laugh, and that ruby glinting in sunlight. He never knew that fate was about to return it. When Malik reached the billionaire's table, he barely noticed the man at first. Just another rich guest, surrounded by executives and politicians. Then a flash of red. He looked again. The same ruby ring, same carved initials. His chest tightened, his breath caught. For a moment, the ballroom noise disappeared. It was like the past had slipped into the present, right there on that man's hand. Malik's pulse thundered in his ears. His fingers trembled, but he steadied himself. He leaned closer and whispered softly, "My mom has the same ring." 7 words. That was all it took for the billionaire's world, and Malik's, to stop spinning. Charles Remington, media mogul and master of composure, froze mid-sip. The glass slipped from his hand, shattering against the marble floor. Crimson wine bled across his cuff. Every head turned toward him, confused whispers spreading through the room. But his eyes, wide, trembling, locked on Malik's face. He tried to speak, but couldn't. His lips moved, no sound came. He stood abruptly, muttered something about needing air, and hurried toward the exit. Malik stood frozen, tray still in hand, heart pounding. He saw something in those eyes. Guilt, fear, recognition. Whatever that ring meant, Charles knew. And Malik knew then, this wasn't coincidence. It was connection. Malik retreated to the kitchen, his thoughts spinning faster than the plates around him. Should he chase a billionaire? Risk his job? His manager barked orders, but he barely heard. Images of his mother flooded back. Her laughter, her warmth, her promise. Always stand for what's right, even when you're scared. He clenched his fists. He had lived in silence long enough. He didn't have money or power, but he had truth, and that was enough. He took a deep breath, removed his gloves, and stepped out of the kitchen doors. He would find out how that man got the ring, and he would not stop until he knew what happened to his mother. That night, after his shift ended, Malik sat alone in his small apartment, phone glowing in the dark. He searched everything about Charles Remington, old articles, interviews, charity events. Then he found it, a 15-year-old photograph of Remington and his late wife at a charity auction. On her hand, the same ruby ring. His stomach turned. How had his mother's ring become hers? He took a picture of his mother's old photo, smiling, wearing that same ring, and placed it side by side with the billionaire's wife's image. The match was undeniable. Malik sent both photos to a friend who worked in digital journalism. "Don't publish yet," he wrote. "Just hold on to it. I think I found something." By dawn, whispers had already started online. Something big was coming, and the truth was waking up. Within hours, old staff from Remington's mansion began sending anonymous messages. They remembered a housekeeper who vanished suddenly years ago. No notice, no goodbye. Rumors said she'd been sent away after an argument in the private wing. No police report. No media mention. Each story different, but one detail the same. A ruby ring that never left her hand. Malik read every message, his chest tightening. Could that housekeeper be his mother? The pattern was undeniable. The silence, deliberate. 2 days later, a retired nurse came forward after seeing the viral post. She'd worked at St. Teresa Hospital years ago. She remembered a woman admitted late one night, bruised, confused, with no ID. The name on the file read Jane Doe. The nurse recalled a man in a gray suit insisting she be transferred to a private facility the next morning. That facility, records showed, had been quietly funded by none other than Charles Remington. Malik's pulse raced as the nurse spoke. The puzzle pieces were sliding into place, forming a picture he both needed and dreaded to see. Investigators obtained a court order forcing the private facility to release files on its long-term patients. Among them, Jane Doe. DNA tests confirmed what Malik had prayed for and feared. Jane Doe was Evelyn Carter. She had been kept medicated and isolated for nearly 2 decades. The ring had been taken from her hand the night she arrived, and later gifted to Remington's wife as a family heirloom. Malik stared at the report, tears blurring the words. His mother was alive, but broken by years stolen in silence. He prepared himself to see her again. When Evelyn Carter stepped out of the hospital gates, the sun hit her face like a memory. Thin, pale, trembling, eyes unsure of the world. Malik ran forward, voice cracking. "Mom!" She flinched, then studied his face. A moment passed. Recognition sparked. Her lips parted. She whispered his name. They fell into each other's arms, years of loss melting into tears. For the first time in 19 years, Malik felt whole. He promised never to let her disappear again. News exploded worldwide. Major networks replayed the story nonstop. Billionaire hides missing woman for decades. Sponsors fled. Stock prices crashed. Remington's board voted him out within hours. Investigations revealed forged medical orders, hush payments, and illegal confinement. The man once untouchable now faced charges of obstruction, abuse, and unlawful detention. His empire turned to dust while the world watched justice unfold. Malik resigned from the hotel quietly. No bitterness, just peace. He moved his mother into a small house outside the city, where mornings smelled like coffee and freedom. They planted a rosebush beside the porch. She called it a new beginning. News outlets named the saga The Ring That Spoke. People everywhere shared stories of ordinary workers uncovering truth. Malik didn't reply to interviews. He'd already said everything that mattered, with 7 words. Malik never sought fame, only truth and healing. His story reminded millions that sometimes justice doesn't wear a badge. It wears a name tag. It speaks softly, serves quietly, and changes everything. If this story moved you, share it, like it, and comment below. Where are you watching from? Your support helps keep voices like Malik's alive, because courage can start anywhere, even behind a tray of empty glasses.